do it. Andrea Heuston here. I'm the hostess of the Lead Like a Woman show, where I feature strong, crazy, amazing, and innovative female leaders and how they're changing our world for the better. We have over 40,000 people on social media who are sharing our message of empowering female leaders to empower others. And keep sharing. The best way to help us is to run on over to Apple and give us a 5-star review and share it with somebody you like. Or don't like. It's up to you. In this episode, we're going to talk about creating a product you see as missing in an industry. It's all about innovation. But first, before we get to that, this episode is brought to you by Artitudes. Are you a woman who wants to start a business, or do you already own one? Artitudes has a special offer for you. Learn to pitch for funding or for sales with our women-owned package. It includes content and speaker coaching and a pitch or sales presentation so that you can win with confidence. You can find it at artitudes.com/women-owned. Now that is women with an E because we are collective. And the best way to find me is type hashtag #LeadLikeAWoman into your search bar, or as always, I am all over LinkedIn. I am excited to introduce our guest today because I have followed her on her journey for a little over a year now when we met the first time at a Women Business Enterprise National Council conference, one of the big ones. And so I'm excited to chat with her. So Mara Smith is a former attorney, corporate strategist, and stay-at-home mom who's the founder of Inspiro Tequila. Mara began her legal career at a large firm in Chicago before joining the corporate strategy team at a Fortune 500 company. After her twins were born prematurely, Mara made the difficult decision to leave the corporate world to stay home. She never stopped thinking about what was next. We're always thinking, aren't we? Mara always envisioned running her own company, and in February of 2020, right before COVID, she set out on her journey to create a new tequila brand. Mara started drinking tequila when she was looking for a better-for-you adult beverage. She discovered that the tequila she was drinking contained undisclosed additives. So she searched for a brand that was additive-free with a look, taste, and messaging that appealed to her. And apparently, there was not one. That perfect tequila did not exist. So she decided to create one. I love that impetus. I love it. You figure out something that's lacking and you create what you need. The goal was not just to create impeccable tequila, but it was also to bring more female voices to the spirits industry. Inspiro Tequila is proudly distilled, owned, and led by women. As a female founder, Mara's mission is to inspire and support other women on their entrepreneurial journey through financial support and mentoring. Mara, welcome to the Lead Like a Woman show.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. I think I fit into the category where we talk about featuring crazy female leaders.
I know,
getting into the industry, definitely a crazy move.
Crazy is positive in this case, right? Because you have to be a little crazy to jump off that building and grow wings before you hit the bottom. So you started as a corporate attorney and then you went to business development for a major fast food brand. What led you? What was that thing in the back of your head, other than what I just read to people? What was it that said, I'm going to start a tequila brand?
I know. Many pivots in my career. And, a great question. How in the world did I get here? But so I feel like I was on a very linear path. I took a very conservative route. I studied accounting in undergrad. I got my CPA. I went straight to law school. I took the big law firm job to pay off my law school loans. So I took this very straight path.
Yeah, for sure.
And loved my law firm experience. I was working at the time, the largest law firm in Chicago. And all of a sudden, when I started thinking about and contemplating having a family, I'd been there for many years. I looked around, I'm like, wait, there are no women partners in my department. And it I don't know that it occurred to me before, but I said, I have no role models to look to how to possibly manage a large law firm life and having a family. Yeah. And at the time, the option was really to go part-time, but it kind of meant you just get paid part-time, you really work full-time. You don't get the big sexy deals that I like to do. You're doing more routine
corporate stuff, right?
Yes, and it's more routine, leasing and lending, and I like the big acquisitions and dispositions. And and really you're off the partnership track. And I'm like, God, I like work my butt off to be like to work my way up. And
you work all the time, right?
Right. And so it just it wasn't the right path for me. So I, at that time, said, you know, maybe I'm going to move to the corporate side. Let me see what it's like on the business side. And so then I joined McDonald's Corporation in their corporate strategy group, which was kind of new at the time.
Totally different too.
Totally different. And I wasn't even doing any legal work. Like, it was a totally different perspective.
Wow.
And all of a sudden my entrepreneurial spirit was kind of sparked because we were studying like consumer trends and insights. And the whole point of this group was like to ideate and come up with new concepts that are outside
that
like
kind of
traditional, you know, McDonald's route. So it opened my eyes to this whole like new world. And actually, even at that time, I started thinking about, I'm like, what if I open my own business? And like something I never thought about before.
Right.
I was looking into opening a franchise, becoming a franchisee of like an ice cream franchise. And Chicago, you know, not the best locale for that. Yeah. So I decided not to go with that, but it just got me like thinking about that. And but you know, nothing ever goes according to plan.
No, and that's okay. Sometimes it's better.
Totally. And this one was a little like totally took me off my route, but I became pregnant with my oldest kids who are twins.
Wow.
And I ended up on emergency bed rest.
Oh.
And so my corporate career came to a screeching halt. I was on bed rest for 3.5 months.
Wow.
And then I had preemie twins.
Oh.
And I made the decision to leave the workforce. I'm very fortunate that I had that option, but I just could not see how I could like manage that all. Right. And having preemie twins, I thought they needed my attention. So I shifted. And I ended up staying home. And that was probably more likely for me to start a company and even a spirits brand than for me to stay home at that time. I don't think anyone saw that coming. I was like super driven and focused and, you know, working my way up the corporate ladder. So that transition was very major for me that I decided to stay home. And then my youngest child is 9.5 years younger. So I ended up out of the workforce for over 16 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yes,
well, you know, twins are a lot of work, I will tell you. I mean, I know you know better than I do. We went through years of infertility treatment. So we had this hope at one point that we would have twins, but that's okay. We didn't, and I'm okay with that. But that's a lot of work. And to start a business in the midst of all this is what a path you've chosen. What a path you've chosen to create for yourself. So I want to know, when you started Inspiro, I don't want to know what went wrong. Everybody wants to know what went wrong because there are things that go wrong. I want to know, Mara, what went right?
I love that question. And so, you know, I started it once my kids were a little older, right? So I had to like, I feel like I had to kind of get out of the kind of everyday like grind where I never had time to like think about doing anything else. And so, and of course, my timing, as you mentioned in the beginning, impeccable, February of 2020, before the entire world shuts down. Like, that's when I'm going to start a tequila brand. Yay. You know? And really, I think the first piece of this to explain like what I think went right. And as you mentioned, there are constant obstacles and hurdles. Like if you told me like the hardest thing, I'd say, what do you mean today? Like there's always something in a startup.
You mean today?
Exactly. But I think
love that.
The premise behind why I started it is also kind of what I think has gone right for it. And I started it because frankly, you know, I was and am a tequila drinker. And that had been my spirit of choice. Like you mentioned, I didn't realize everything had undisclosed additives like sweeteners and aspartame and glycerin and coloring. And the other thing was that I kept hearing from women that they're tequila drinkers. And I was like, well, if all these women drink tequila, why are brands not focused on this consumer?
Right.
So I think what we did right is like bringing my vision to focus on this overlooked consumer in everything we do and crafting it with her in mind. Everything from the bottle design, that it was a bottle I would want to display in my own home bar. Yes. You know, to the taste profiles and really making it so that this very important consumer is actually represented on the shelves.
Yeah.
We know that 54% of tequila drinkers are women. So
Wow.
if that's such a large percentage, and we know that women make over 85% of all purchasing decisions for the home. So when you have this really significant consumer base making, purchasing decisions, feeling like she also is represented on the shelves where she goes to purchase. And the fact that I think we do that really authentically and address her authentically, I think is what we've done right. So I made sure that it wasn't like this one female figurehead and everyone behind me is like middle-aged white men,
Exactly,
like industry execs, right? By being distilled, owned, led by women, having women on the ground, having a primarily female, sales team, having my operations headed by a woman, having my financials headed by a woman, like really bringing that perspective, the fact that you and I met at the WeBank conference, right? There are only 12 certified woman-owned spirits brands across all categories.
Wow.
So making sure that we meet that high standard, right? Because it's a high standard to meet that you have to be not only owned, but controlled by women. So I think that's what we got right, is that we really, we're very authentic and transparent. So you see who's behind it. And that when I say we're going to bring female voices or perspectives to an industry that's generally male dominated, we're really doing that.
Oh, I think that's just brilliant, really. And you even have, I know it's created and led by women, but you have one of the most respected master distillers in the tequila industry in Mexico as part of your team, right?
Yes.
And her name is Ana Maria Romero Mena.
Mena,
Mena. Okay.
And she's legendary. I always say she's a legendary master distiller who happens to be a woman. But yes.
I love that. I think it's fascinating and really cool. So I was going to ask you about your target market, but you really did define it. I know you did that because you wanted to have women represented, and women drink 54% tequila. However, women make the majority of purchasing decisions, even for their men, right?
Yes.
So it's very fascinating that you focus on that target market. The target market. How is that working for you? Has that been a game changer, that differentiator?
Yes, I think the piece of it, the game changer, is that I'm in a really crowded industry, and there are a lot of tequila brands, but I think that does differentiate us, because when people ask me, well, are you ignoring like a huge segment of the population? I'm like, no. It's not like men don't drink it or men don't like it. It appeals to men. It's not like a hot pink bottle and fruity flavors. It's a very high quality, meticulously crafted, ultra premium tequila. The difference is that everything about what we do is always thinking this consumer first, this female, really important, thoughtful female consumer, educated consumer. We don't dumb it down for her. The product's not dumbed down. Our messaging, typically spirits brands, they are using like scantily clad women, dark club scenes, like things that just did not personally resonate with me. So when we're speaking to her, it's like genuinely, and it's just trying to be like really, I'd say, thoughtful, and like our messaging, how it's crafted and everything about it. And so that's what I think really can differentiate us in this type of market, is like, we know you like tequila, we're going to give you like a really great option, and you may not know what you're drinking has additives in it. Right. And I think many women are choosing tequila because they think of it as like a clean, better option. Exactly. A cleaner option. So once they learn, I didn't realize it had, coloring or sweeteners in it, we prefer something that's a better, cleaner option. But the fact that we provide that in something that's still really approachable and drinkable and easy to drink, and has some like the sweeter tasting notes they're looking for, that really, I think, sets us apart in a category as far as like our positioning and actually our product.
I love that. So the other thing, I want to talk about your products for a moment. You also have a rosé tequila.
A Rosa Reposado.
It's okay. So let's go Spanish.
It's aged in rosé wine barrels.
So it's a Rosa. Cool.
Thank you. That one was that was a labor of love for sure. So when I had this great idea, I'm like, I'm going to age tequila in rosé wine barrels. Little did I know, because I'm a newcomer to the industry, that
Right.
rosé wine is a young wine that generally never touches wood. Like, it never goes into wood. So when I had this great idea, I'm like, oh no, where do I find rosé wine barrels? And I had to like scour the earth
France.
to find rosé wine barrels. Right. Well, generally, even
Wow.
French rosé doesn't go into aging. It usually just goes to steel.
Wow.
It's a young wine.
Right.
So we finally tracked down rosé wine barrels in the south of France, and I was like,
Wow.
elated. So it's a whole process to get them to Mexico for aging, because they have to come like from France to California, from California to Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
But I think we really created a very unique product with it. So everything from the color
as well. So it's a sipping.
It's a reposado. So it's aged. Right. So reposado means it's aged between 2 and 12 months.
Yeah. And
this is a little bit of a younger reposado. It's going to be between 2 and 3 months, depending how often the barrels have been used. But it's a really light, very, I think it's an easy to drink, but it's also a good entry point for people who maybe aren't used to drinking aged expressions. It's there's not as much wood on it, because it's not aged in whiskey barrels like traditionally tequilas are aged. And the color is also just so unique. It's all natural.
So pretty.
It's got this like rose gold hue, but we don't add any coloring. And the aroma, like our master distiller, Anna Maria, she developed the aroma wheel in tequila that's used by the industry. And the nose on our Rosa Reposado is just really unbelievable. Like, every time someone like even cracks open the bottle, I can smell it like across the room. Like, it just is such a unique, and has some floral and berry, and it's it's a very special expression of tequila.
And it's very different. I love that.
Yes.
Great job. That's amazing.
Thank
the
you.
other thing I want to say great job on is you are a certified B Corp. So Inspiro Tequila is a certified B Corp. And I have a friend who has a business that's B Corp, actually multiple. And the work you have to go through to become a B Corp is insane. So good on you. And would you tell us a little bit about what a B Corp is and what it means and how you got there?
Yes. And it's kind of funny. So, when I thought about how difficult it is to get like WeBank certified, and B Corp takes it to a whole nother level. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like requires documenting everything.
Oh, so much so.
What I think about is this, like, so giving back and like social impact, and us being committed to elevating other women in business. And so we provide a grant every year. We sponsor pitch competitions, things that will help other female entrepreneurs on their journeys. And then I mentor the pitch winner. Like, that's always been part of the brand ethos. And what I think about B Corp is that it formalizes that commitment. So before we were doing these things, this requires us to have like transparency, track those things. Now we look at it from everyone, from like vendors we work with. Like, can we work with diverse owned, women owned vendors, suppliers? When we do collaborations or partnerships, like, we just look at that throughout, and like, how can we work with like other women owned businesses and help elevate each other?
I love that. That's the golden thread that connects it all together.
Totally. And
beautiful. It's
something that we're committed to and doing. And this just makes us actually like track it and document it. It's kind of funny. Sometimes people ask like, what does it do for business? And I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm like, I think women-owned certification is very helpful from like a business perspective. I think B Corp certification, I did more just for me, just to formalize something that I thought was like really important and part of our entire like, brand DNA. So it's funny because not a lot of people, they know what it means or what it is. So it's not, I think it's something newer, but there are a lot, more and more brands are becoming B Corp certified. But I think it's just the whole premise behind it is like, it's for profit, but with purpose too, that there's like a greater purpose. And as we talked about, I re-entered the workforce after being out for a long time. So if I was going to do something, I had to feel like I could also make an impact, and that I could do something that would be like impactful. And that's kind of how I see this. Like, this is our
absolutely
like committed to making an impact and showing that there are like these little small things that everybody could do that collectively are like a very large impact. if you do these like little things, it's like, the referral of another woman-owned business, making a connection for someone, and all those little things. If everyone was doing those, buying woman-owned, gifting woman-owned, working with these brands, other companies, it's kind of like just shows like all these like incremental little things like collectively are very, significant.
Yeah, but you do more than just that. You have a give back program within Inspiro called the Purple Bicycle Project. And the story is lovely. I can very much relate. I started riding a big bike with a banana seat, mind you, at 4 years old. So tell us a little bit, give us the overview of the Purple Bicycle Project.
Yes. So the story is based on either me being very determined or just incredibly stubborn as a child. And
determined and stubborn, there's that fine line.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure things have stayed the same. But, that was just like the moniker for this, like our initiative that we were like going to be committed. I think now it's really transitioned into being as a B Corp, having that commitment that we were going to either give whatever it is, 2% of revenue or 20% of profits back. And how do we do that? And generally we find a 501c3 that we're going to work with. So it's a number of ways. Like it could be in-kind donations to support, events that are for, female founders or for women. It also, we always do like this community connections grant every year through the Enthuse Foundation. So that is one where I love that. All these, female founders submit. I read all the grant submissions this year. I read like 151.
Wow.
Narrowed down. Yes, I interviewed 8 and then one gets a grant. And it's, again, shows and demonstrates you don't have to be a huge company. We're a startup. It's a $2,500 grant. It's not huge, but it does make a difference for someone.
Yeah, it does.
And it's helping someone join communities. I found being part of like networks and communities, being part of WeBank, being part of other groups, it's been really helpful for me to connect with people, to learn from other founders. If not, it's a really lonely journey, right?
It is for sure.
So this is to help another founder find the right organizations and groups and build her community. And then I mentor whoever wins the grant. So I also mentor them.
I love that too.
Is for me, I feel like I learned just as much from my mentee as I like.
That's always true. It's a two-way street. Yeah,
it is. And it's like, that's one of the most, exciting and rewarding parts of it is that I also get to, connect with another founder and mentor her and hopefully pay it forward. Cause I've been so fortunate to have a number of women who have been, helping to guide me. So that's that piece of it. Like it's trying to give someone else, like pull them up a little bit too. And
we always have to. It's that classic image of the woman reaching back behind her to pull somebody else up. I do believe that all boats rise with the incoming tide. So what you're doing is incredible.
Right. And the more you can, shout another woman's name out in the room and call them out when they're not there.
When they're not there.
That is like, I feel like that is, just like so significant and like what, something you could do that makes a really big difference for someone else that they didn't ask for it and you just did it. And I think that's a really, it's just helping everybody. And
I love that. Awesome. So one more thing before we move on to our closing questions, but you have started something new called the Inspiro Connectors Collective. I would love to learn more about it, but all of our female listeners would also like to learn more about it. So share with us.
Yes. So we're really excited about this. So when people ask, like, what's your favorite way to drink Inspiro Tequila? Actually, my real answer is like, with my friends. Like, that's how I enjoy it the most. And so when I thought about this, we want to spirit moments of connection for women. Like we know everyone has like a really busy life and like appreciates those times and times with your friends or family and like the small moments. And it doesn't have to be like major celebrations, but like getting your friends together. If it's, playing cards or mahjong or whatever, or girls' night in. And so we thought, what better way to bring women together and let them introduce Inspiro Tequila to their friends then starting
Such a good
this
idea.
Inspiro Connectors Collective, like become part of our community. Part of it is learning from me about the journey and about tequila. Like, so I'm doing as soon as we have our first
Tequila
submissions and then we're
journey.
launching. And yeah, so I'm going to like do Zooms. So quarterly Zooms, like here, learn about the entrepreneurial, process, learn about tequila, and then bring your girlfriends together and have them experience Inspiro Tequila. I think it's like, it's really our more of our like grassroots efforts to like build some awareness, but really with the people that we think are going to be, our best brand advocates. And I want them all to feel like part of something bigger that we're doing.
So tell me, how do we become a part of this?
Yes. So you apply, you just submit an application, and it should be on our Instagram page.
Oh, can you share that info with us?
Yes, at Inspiro Tequila. So you'll find the link in bio to apply to be part of our Connectors Collective community.
We'll put that link in the show notes too.
I appreciate that. And also for sure connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm a big LinkedIn fan, just like you. So Mara Smith on LinkedIn. And I'll also be posting about that and the Connectors Collective with the link. But I'm just excited to bring more women into the mix.
Oh, for sure.
So we're excited about this like home hosting initiative and just building it from there.
It's, it's all about community, and that's grassroots. So I love that. So I'm going to ask you a question here, because I know you've done so many things and you are a mentor for other women. You do so much to bring other women up. So I wanted to know, in your past, I'm sure you've had mentors, but what kind of advice, or what's a piece of advice that you were given from a mentor or somebody in your life that's really kind of helped move you along? Not the person who said you can't ride that bike because it's too big, but that works too. But what's something that's been positive and helped you move forward?
I think there are a couple things. One of them is not going to sound so positive, but I actually think it is. So, and my mom used to say this to me, and I'm like in agreement. Like, I feel like I'm pretty focused. I'm very direct. You have direct feedback, and that's sometimes good. That doesn't play well for a woman. But something she said that it's not going to sound like the best, but people may not call us sweet. My mom too is like a very, very determined, but they call us when they want to get shit done.
Yes, and I love it. That's what I'm called, is the get shit done queen.
Yes, and the reason that sits with me is because, like, you know what? Like, I'm reliable. I'm going to get what you need done. I'm going to follow through.
Yeah.
I'm committed. And maybe I don't need to be, like, sweet and sugary. Like, I mean, I'm nice. I'm empathetic. But maybe I don't have to be, like, overly... And it took me a while until being like an adult to kind of have that like sit well with me. Yeah. Because of what sometimes societal expectations of what you should do. But like, I'm direct, I'm efficient. I don't, I try and make sure that I don't waste your time.
Yeah.
But so I think that piece of it's not really advice, but like I kind of
it is
embraced that.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Good. And the second thing is someone told me as I got started and, and started doing interviews like this. And I went in really, really nervous.
Oh, no.
I used to be terrified of public speaking. And I went in like super nervous, and I'm going in like all extra prepared and planning it out. And once you plan out too much, and like never comes out, I'm
a speaker coach and a TED coach, just, and you're doing great. Anyway.
Thank you. And so then someone gave me advice who worked in PR and who works in PR and said, no one knows as much about your business as you do. So there's no question they're going to ask you that you can't answer.
Yep. So be confident.
That literally always sticks in the back of my head. You know this. You know the answers. Yep. No one's done more research. No one knows it better than you. And you can answer the questions. And that gave me... It just turned my confidence around like so much as far as like going on and doing interviews and podcasts and now even being on TV, that I go in so much more relaxed thinking that like, you know what, I'm going to know the answers. And I think that's great advice for anyone who's, has to put themselves out there, because no matter what, I never thought I was going to be like, oh my gosh, you're going to be the one out there in the face of the brand. I thought I'm just building a brand and a product.
But you are.
But that's what it ends up, and
for sure.
And people want to hear the story of a woman who made this like major transition or re-entered into the workforce or, pivoted in her career.
Absolutely. They see themselves.
Right. And so it has to come from me. But that helped me so much, because before that, I was really, really nervous about like talking in front of people in any circumstance. And now I've done pitch competitions in front of people and everything.
Amazing.
And not that I don't get super, stressed and nervous about a pitch competition, because that's like a very set amount of time where you have to get like so much content in like really quickly, and you have to memorize everything. And but now I'm not as nervous about like usually the Q&A portion of that.
Oh yeah.
Used to make me,
give me so much anxiety. You know more about your business than anyone else does. I love that.
Right. And so I can go into that piece of it, like feeling like, okay, I've got this.
All right, Mara, I like that answer too. I have one final question for you before we close. I believe, Mara, that everyone has a superpower. What's yours?
Focus.
I was going to say determination, but focus is good too. That's not a superpower that we've had on the show in the last 4+ years. No one has said focus. But what I love about that is you need focus to get stuff done. You have to.
Yeah, I have an ability to sit and I could focus on something for like a really, really long time until I get it done, like without distraction. And
amazing. I don't have that superpower, so I appreciate people who do.
Yes, but I sometimes get lost in that. So, my family will be like, where'd you go? And I get, I can be lost in what I'm doing for a long time. Yes.
Oh, I get it. Well, we've had such a fun conversation with you today. Mara Smith, founder and CEO of Inspiro Tequila. I want to know if you could give us your handles. Where can we find you online? We have a couple already, but keep going.
Yes. So find us our website, www.inspirotequila.com, on Instagram and on TikTok and all the social media handles. We're on @Inspiro Tequila. I am on Instagram on @BeInspiredByMara, BeInspiredByMara.
Be Inspired by Mara. Beautiful.
And LinkedIn for sure. And if you reach out, I reply to everybody on LinkedIn because I'm a firm believer in replying. So Mara Smith on LinkedIn.
Amazing. Mara, thank you so much for being on the show today. This was a lot of fun. I learned a lot.
Thank you for having me. Next time we need to do over a drink.
Sounds good to me. And listeners, I want you to remember we all have superpowers. Mara has superpowers. She has focus and determination. I have superpowers, and listeners, you have superpowers. Please use them for good. And thank you for listening today to the Lead Like a Woman show, where we are passionate about empowering female leaders to empower others. Now go have a sip of something, and it doesn't have to be alcoholic, but look up Inspiro Tequila.